Shenanigans. Hi, Russ. Timestamp. It's January 25th, 2025. I got something on my phone. There we go. It's about 1:30 in the morning. So it's the 25th, but barely. Brewing some coffee. I'm very tired and at the same time mentally wired. I didn't know that you could be both pissed and amused at the same time until today. So for those of you who are keeping track of the soap opera that is Harry and David Vanilla Cream Brulee with that splash of Starbucks medium, really good. I am furious and also strangely tickled. So Chuck, as if you've been paying attention, you know, called me on Monday, which he never calls me, to keep me up to date with things going on with my dad. But he called me Monday to let me know that he was going to take my dad to the Wednesday appointment and the Friday appointment. It was all worked out. He had it under control. Not to worry. It's just so that you understand date right now when I'm making this recording. It's Saturday morning, but it's Friday night. So my dad had an appointment today and also 2 days ago. So we're all on the same page. Darla at DCF had talked to Dr. Baker at the VA, and they were prepared to see my dad on Wednesday, and his Friday appointment today was with the memory care unit with, we'll say, Dr. K. So Darla talked to my mom about the Wednesday appointment because Dr. Baker was kind of trying to squeeze my dad in there. Last minute, we're trying to figure things out, because Darla and I both agree that the situation is more dire, critical, crucial, tenuous than, we'll say, my mom, as an example, is letting on. My mom asked, I guess, 20 questions, because I'm coordinating with Darla because we're trying to get this done. And my mom wanted to think about it. The window for the appointment closed, so the Wednesday appointment got scrubbed. Okay, all right, I can take it. It's kind of where I'm like, all right, fine. Short notice, you're not sure, you're still a little timid about the whole thing. Okay. There's still the Friday appointment, which my dad has had an appointment with these people, I think, twice before, and somehow hasn't made it to it. But I've got assurances from Joe that he's going to get in there. Okay. Oh, and also, I dropped off some big girl diapers for my mom at the rehab center where she is. And the lady at the front desk got my name and said, let me check and see. She looked at the computer and was like, let me go see if she's available, because I know she's got, things going on. Comes back about 3 minutes later and she's like, your mom is in therapy, so she can't see you right now. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm being lied to. So I said, okay, have her call me when she gets a chance. If she doesn't call me, well, then goodbye. I guess that's where we are. Because I'm 5'7", and I've had about 5'10" of this. Chuck is going to get him the appointment on Friday. So the appointment's at 10 a.m. with Dr. K. About 10:40 a.m. today, I get a call from Dr. K. She seems very pleasant, very astute. You ever talk to somebody on the phone and you're like, just by their voice, you're like, you're an attractive person. Kind of got that impression. Hold on a sec. Today's been so much fun. Bex fell asleep in her chair. She just woke up to let me know she was formally going to bed, which I'm headed there soon, I think, myself, even though I'm like... So Dr. K calls. So many interruptions. Boy. Now Acorn's going to go nuts. So Dr. K calls and wants to know if I know where Chuck. Man, I'm so fried. It reminds me, though, I do need to call Joe back regarding a job. Chuck calls me. I am so fried from today. Dr. K called and wanted to know where Chuck and my dad were. I've been neglecting calling Joe all week just because I didn't know what to tell him. I have a dangling job offer out there and I don't know what I'm doing yet, so. Acorn's crated for the night and he's not necessarily happy about it, but puppy training. So I say, no, I do not know where Chuck nor my dad are. They were supposed to be there. And she says, well, they're not. I said, okay, that's neat. And she says, well, while I've got you on the phone, can I pick your brain for a while? Since I've got it on record that you're attempting, it looks like, to be cooperative. And I said, I actually took today off from work so that I could make sure my dad was there. But I was reassured by Chuck and my mom that they had it under control. So I backed off again. Oh, it's good coffee. So we talked for about 20-30 minutes about the various symptoms that the VA in general had been lied to about. And apparently it's pretty much on record with them a lot that the appointments that my dad was supposed to go to that he missed had been the responsibility of Chuck and or my mom to get him there. Which, that's interesting, don't you think? Like a recurring theme here. So I reached out to Darla and let her know that I got to know Dr. K and she seems very nice. And she was curious where my dad was. Now, Darla knows and has known that Chuck was going to get my dad there. So she says, well, Dr. K sounds really nice. Do you have her phone number? And I said, yeah, actually, she gave me her phone number and her extension. She's like, great, can I get that? So I gave her the number. Darla texts me a little while later to let me know that so far, the information that I've given the VA is the only information that actually jives with her information. Which being she's a, government official, kind of helps my situation, I think, because it makes everybody else look like their pants are on fire. Because their pants are on fire. And I've been saying that for a while. So I asked Darla, I frequently have Peter Venkman in my head. I can just kind of hear Bill Murray say, so what do we do? The basic gist is I need to get my dad to the VA ER so that they can, not literally, but kind of like put a bag over his head, drag him out, and start actually figuring out what's wrong with him. But I've got to get him there without getting shot, and with Chuck and my mom basically running active interference. No problem. So I decide I'm gonna call Chuck. And Chuck says, "Oh yeah, I was just there. I got your dad a cheeseburger, and I made sure he had food in the freezer and all that." And I'm like, cool. So about that appointment this morning, and he's like, "Well, I had an eye appointment on Wednesday, and it turned into an emergency. I had like bleeding going on in my eye, so they were sticking needles in my eye and stuff, and I couldn't drive. I couldn't go anywhere." I was like, "Oh, okay." Meanwhile, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Okay, but you were just at my dad's house. It's only a couple hours later after the appointment time. Got him a cheeseburger and made sure he had food." He's like, "Yeah, no, your dad's a priority of mine." Yeah, me too. Me too. He said, "Yeah, I called your mom. I told her I wasn't gonna be able to get him there." I was like, "Oh, okay. You didn't call me?" And he's like, "Well, no. I mean, I called your mom. I figured, she'd be able to handle it from there. My mom didn't call me. No one called me." And he's like, "Well, I don't know what to say." I'm like, "There's not a lot you can really say, but just understand that I'm pretty pissed off right now." He's like, "Yeah, well, I get that, but I mean, we can make another appointment." I'm like, "You guys don't show up to them." "You're right. We can't make another appointment. What's the point?" "Well, I gotta go." Click. So I let Darla know. I've smoked about 3 cigars today. Under the circumstances, I think I'm behaving pretty well. So I smoke about a half a cigar and have some coffee and try and chill out, because when I get mad, I tremble, and I was about to turn green and bumpy. Angry. Never have been a big Hulk reader, comic book wise, but when I get extremely mad, I black out. If it's a person that caused me to get mad, and oh my god, it's been about 25 years since I've had a moment like that, and I actually didn't go the distance. Kelly kind of talked me down from it. But yeah, I have been known to black out and just start hitting whatever it was that got me mad. I've heard it. I've heard it referred to as rage disorder. I don't know. I never really looked it up, but it's no, just because I'm not a Hulk reader, but I get it. You know. Um. So I call my mom, and on about the seventh ring, she picked up, and she's like, "Hello." I said, "Hi." She's like, "Oh, hi." And I said, "So, kind of curious." She said, how are you? How are things going? I said, "Honestly, not good. I'm pretty angry right now." And she's like, "Well, I can't really talk right now. I'll call you back later today." And she hangs up. Only she didn't hang up. Once again, the Wolf King elders have been thwarted by a cell phone. She puts the phone down, I'm assuming on the bed, because, she's at the rehab center. And I can still hear I have my headset on. And I heard her mumble something. And then I heard a laugh. And I recognized the laugh. It was Chuck. So Chuck is in my mom's rehab room. I guess you really can drive even after the eye operation, right? These are the things popping in my head. And because in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is part of that hearing in color thing that Pix talks about. Because I'm pretty sure it was Joe. I'm pretty sure. Why do I keep saying Joe? I need sleep. Pretty sure it was Chuck. So I'm like, Mom thinks she hung up the phone. She didn't. Let me keep listening for a second. Just for clarity, Joe is a friend of mine at a place that I used to work, and I worked with him. He's a manager, and he just became an even higher up manager. And I'm trying to figure out if I can get one of my old jobs back because financially we're hurting. So that's on my mind. So I continue to listen, and I hear again what I think is Chuck's voice say, "Well, when I was there, I checked, and he's got 8 frozen dinners in the freezer, so he should be good for a few days." That's one of the main things that Chuck does, is make sure that my dad has food and run him to Publix when he doesn't. It's kind of a weird sentence to say to my mom, unless you're Chuck. So at this point, I know it's Chuck. And I pass my headset over to Kelly and let her listen for a minute. And she's like, "Chuck is there." Because she recognized his voice too. So, and it's a little garbly, so I'm not really making out anything. Trying to be a fly on the wall a little bit. Guilty conscience here, gotta fess up. I was attempting to eavesdrop a little bit, because if you're stupid enough to not hang up the phone, I'm gonna listen, because y'all are obviously conspiring. So, but I'm not really hearing anything useful. I hang up the phone. And I call Chuck. And it rings about 6 times, goes to voicemail. I hang up. And I thought, y'all ask for it. I'm going to mess with you. So I texted Chuck. And I said, you should really tell my mom that she needs to actually hang up the cell phone before starting the conversation again with the person in the room. Yeah, I did that. I didn't get a response. Isn't that weird? I did try to call my mom back a couple hours later. Rang and rang, went to voicemail. Called back again real quick. Rang and rang, went to voicemail. So I think maybe she feels awkward. Yeah, probably. Again, I'm amused and pissed. Darla, likewise. You know, when you're trying to make a good impression on DCF, lying to them and not following through with what you say you're going to do, probably not your best methodology here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a different tactic, like telling the truth and jumping through the hoops they tell you to damn well jump through. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm new at this. I have never sailed on this river. I have no idea where it's going. None whatsoever. But really, people? I'm trying to get my dad help. And you guys, and it's pretty much on record now, are actively trying to avoid him seeing doctors. That may not look good for you. That may actually look really bad for you. Because it looks like abuse, neglect, from my understanding, because that word keeps coming up. What it also tells me, like legit what it tells me, is if you're trying to keep him away from the doctors that badly, how much worse is he than even we know? Because you seem pretty scared of him going to the doctors. If he's fine, why are you that worried? So worried, in fact, that you're lying to a DCF investigator. Are you stupid? One has to ask. You're at least short-sighted, you know? In our guts, Pix and I knew, especially after Wednesday, that Chuck wasn't going to get my dad to the appointment on Friday. Knew it. In our guts. But kind of had to let them prove us right, you know? If you heard that, that was a nice pop. Please don't drive drunk, because, you know, my spine can't thank you because it's already damaged, but someone else's spine might thank you. Really don't know where this is going. I just know that I feel like there's a FAFO moment coming, you know? There's DCF and sheriffs and the VA involved. I don't know if I'd want to be on the other end of that. Anyway. Oh, geez, 25 minutes. I'm willing to bet your day was better, possibly more boring, but at least not as stressful. Hopefully. It's Friday, it's the weekend. Physical symptom wise, my chest is tight, but I'm willing to bet it's anxiety. Breathing, I seem okay. You know, still, yes, I know I need to quit smoking. I'm well aware of that. Because I don't want to wind up in a hospital bed being forced to learn how to use a BiPAP or die, which is kind of where my mom is. Although I don't know if she's actually decided to experiment with the BiPAP or if she's just going to keep telling nurses, oh, I'll exercise, I'll be fine. No, you won't. Anyway, I'm going to try and get some sleep. Although I don't know how I'm going to do that. And it's not the coffee. I could drink a whole pot of coffee before bed, and that wouldn't be a problem. My brain is just on fire. I couldn't help but send that text. I mean, I probably could have, but damn. I'm like, okay, there you guys. Try this one on. This should make that room awkward for a few minutes. Oh, Marcus is trying to call. I just got a text now. He knows I'm here. Yeah, because you guys are sloppy. And quit hurting my dad. Right? You know, I changed my life 2 years ago so that we could get him help. You're pissing me off. Anyway. Make it a great day.